Good morning, everyone. Sorry for missing the video yesterday. Still, I'm better. I'm much better than previously, but yeah, I am still trying to get into the flow. And I usually try to keep these videos positive, but I also want to kind of keep it real and talk to you about YouTube stuff that kind of illustrates that it's not all sunshine and roses when you are making YouTube videos. I mean, I always kind of recommend to you to start a YouTube channel, not predominantly to get bigger, but more to utilize it to your benefits, meaning getting better talking in front of the camera, learning new skills like camera, utilizing YouTube in general as an accountability body so that you continue making these videos and make them as simplified as possible. But there is also a flip side to YouTube that I kind of want to talk about today because I'm not sure if I just now noticed them a little bit more since I deleted the YouTube Studio app from my phone and I did not check my comments that much, or I don't know, I was lucky and two of my videos, one of them somewhat gotten into a political space and the other one is in the camera equipment space, that there are a couple of more comments. Sorry, I need to get to the door. Alright, sorry for the interruption. I actually had my neighbor at the door and then after we finished talking I had to go to an appointment. So there is about 4 hours in between these two segments. So where was I? I was just about to talk about a couple of comments and me making two videos that made this negative side of YouTube a little bit more apparent, at least to me. And those two videos, or what I'm talking about in this video, is kind of building upon the video that I made a couple of days ago, in which I've seen a number of people commenting before a video actually is over, or even without watching it. And that didn't only happen on my video, but I also noticed it on other videos as well. And with my video about photography equipment, and I don't know what it is. When it comes down to gear videos, there are always, it's bound to happen that there are a couple of comments that are somewhat, can be considered negative, and that kind of put you in a negative mood and discourage you. And for me, I hope that when you watch this, before you comment or before you want to place a negative comment, maybe watch to the end. So what kind of annoys me sometimes is that people don't really watch the video and consider everything that is being said. So for example, with the video that I'm talking about, it was about the DJI Pocket 3 and the things that I dislike. And I feel like I made it a little bit clear enough. And this is something that I learned really early in my main channel. I really want to set the stage how I kind of structure a video and with what intent I am presenting some of the points. For example, if you don't know my main channel, I do reviews about everyday carry and bags, and I make it a point to say, okay, I will nitpick and try to show you as many negatives as possible so that the viewer can then decide and evaluate, oh, do these negatives actually apply to my use case? For example, if you live in Hamburg, you pretty much know that you will get into rain. Therefore, there is a high likeliness that you are looking for weather resistance. If you live, for example, I don't know, in LA, where it only sometimes rains. It doesn't matter to you if I gonna tell you some of the very nitpicking sometimes negative aspects of a certain product. But for some reason, although I can't explain it that way, there are sometimes people who comment like, oh, that is such a stupid negative, this doesn't apply to me. And they don't realize that that is the point of my video, that I want you to kind of see, oh, okay, that doesn't apply to me. Because I feel like as a reviewer, I need to tell you as many negatives as possible, because why should I tell you only about the positives if those positives basically are already advertised in the product page of that specific product? So that is why I personally consider it really important to look at the negatives. And that is what I've done in the DJI Pocket 3 video, where I was kind of saying, oh, I love this camera, but let me give you a couple of points that are negative, so you can kind of see, okay, does that apply to my use case or not? Or am I still going to buy it? Because let's be real, if you consider buying a product, especially camera, you already know everything that is positive about that camera. And you kind of want to see, or I would argue you need to see what is negative about that product to kind of see, is my buying decision actually the, in air quotes, right one? Or is there a potential downside that could be, not as great once you purchased it? So that was my intent of that video. And maybe I didn't communicate it that well, but there were some comments that were like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, you don't know how to use it, use the right camera, learn about that stuff. And I'm sitting here and reading those comments and I'm thinking like, I know that stuff, but I think it is important that I show you some of the things. For example, I utilized the Pocket 3 as a quick and dirty, quick vlogging camera in the pinch of a moment. And I specifically know and want that this camera is smaller and therefore has a smaller screen. Sometimes it is a little bit fiddly, but I just know that. However, because everything is small and I utilize it in a very quick scenario, because I feel conscious being outside filming myself, I am bound to make mistakes because I just don't see where the focus point is. So that is why I kind of talked about that sometimes the focus point doesn't get me, or when you have something in the foreground and you don't kind of set it up correctly, because you are in the heat of the moment, there is a high likeliness, or not high, there is a likeliness of, or the potential that the focus is off. It focuses on the front and not on you, because face tracking potentially is not on, because I don't like it, because the camera, the gimbal will follow me. And I felt like, okay, I need, or I want to mention those potential drawbacks if you aren't careful. And I feel like I need to rewatch that video, but I'm pretty certain, since I've learned that I need to set the stage how I make a video, I'm 80% sure that I mentioned that I will be nitpicking in that video. And people saying, oh, you don't know what you're talking about because apparently you don't know what or how this camera is working, defeats or gives me the impression that they didn't listen to how I set the stage of this video, which annoys me a little bit. Then, and I'm not bashing anyone who doesn't know or doesn't have the background or doesn't have the knowledge. So, but I'm then going to those channels and I'm checking out, okay, maybe those people have some credibility to what they're saying and potentially just didn't watch my video, and fair game. But then you go to their YouTube channel. They never posted a video on YouTube themselves. Plus, I don't see any, like, in air quotes, qualification that tells me that they actually know what I'm saying. And this is... This doesn't mean that they don't know what they're saying, but let me give you a different example. There are so many like fans of sports, be it I'm a martial artist, I'm not a good one, but I practice martial arts for many years. I spar a lot. And so I feel like I somewhat know what I'm talking about when it comes down to fighting, but I would never oh, there is a phone call. Hold on. Sorry about that. There's a lot going on today. So yeah, I was with sports. So even though I know martial arts, I would never say something like, oh, he should have done this, and I would have done this, and then I definitely would have won the fight. Or with football, you see so many fans, and I'm sorry to say, sometimes fans who clearly don't work out, let me phrase it really carefully there, who say like, oh, that would have been so easy. I would have just run that way, passed over, then they passed back, and then it would have hit a goal. And I'm sitting there, clearly, you don't train at all, and clearly I don't think that you are playing. So who gives you the right is maybe the wrong word, because we all have rights to voice our opinion, but what kind of credibility do you have to kind of say that A, you would have done better, or B, actually knowing that what you're suggesting would have kind of yield in the win? So that's something where I'm thinking most people should just shut up, because they clearly don't know what they're talking about, or they haven't done anything that kind of gives them the credibility to criticize other people. I'm sitting here, I'm just making a video, and I'm trying to help other people, and then people coming in and saying, oh, you are this and that, and you're an asshole. And then I'm like, did you watch the video? Because whatever you are kind of claiming, this is not about the DJI Pocket, but whatever you are kind of saying to me now, and you are attacking me, I don't understand where that's coming from. And then we are kind of commenting back and forth, and then in the end they say like, oh, I should have watched the video. And then I'm like, obviously you should have watched the video before attacking me. So what the hell? And the same as with the DJI Pocket 3 video, where I'm thinking like, yes, obviously the way I explain it kind of suggests that I'm using it wrong, but I'm also kind of prefaced, I hope so, I need to rewatch the video. I believe that usually I preface the video and say like, okay, listen, I'm going to nitpick here. At least that's what I'm doing with my main channel. I'm going to nitpick here, and these are negatives that hopefully help you to decide if those apply to you. And even not only in that DJI Pocket 3 video, but in a couple of my main channel videos. For example, I also do quick looks and first impressions, where I specifically say, hey, I'm not going to inform myself about the product because I want to give you, or I want you to experience how I experience the bag or the product for the very first time. And I feel like if I would have informed myself, it wouldn't be like a surprise. And if I would know how a product works, then my first impressions would be prepared, and I couldn't really like see how intuitive a product is designed. If I, for example, I know how to exchange a light bulb in a car's headlight, then I wouldn't be able to give you an honest first impression if that process of exchanging the light bulb would be intuitive. You know, that is why I kind of go into first impressions and unboxings blind. And I'm telling everyone in the beginning, hey, I don't know anything about this product because I want to give you the experience as if I would be walking into a brick and mortar store, see, oh, that's a cool product, and then I check it out, right? Still, there are people who then comment, oh, you have no clue, that is I don't know, this and that fabric, and that fabric is known for this and that, and you should have informed yourself previously before kind of nitpicking about that. And I'm sitting here, didn't you watch what I was saying in the beginning? Are you just skipping through and then commenting? And obviously, you're totally right. If I wouldn't kind of set the stage in the beginning, how I'm kind of making that video. So this is where some of my frustration comes from, and this is what I wanted to kind of illustrate here in this video, that not everything on YouTube is like sunshine and roses, and it is important to kind of know that the comment section can be very discouraging. What you need to do is, or what I recommend to you, because I'm doing that, it's do your due diligence to kind of explain what you're doing. You don't need to, but it definitely helps you to kind of clear everything from your side, so you can always refer back to, hey, I said in the beginning I'm going to do this and that is why I'm nitpicking, and I don't understand why you're criticizing me now. And then most of people are like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess I missed that in the video. And I always, and this is something that I mentioned in one of the other videos, I always comment with the benefit of a doubt. I never attack back, because that's not helpful. If someone attacks you and you attack back, it just ends up in a big argument that doesn't help anyone. And that is why I go with the benefit of a doubt into the dialogue, and I'm saying like, okay, not sure if I understand you correctly. Can you kind of elaborate? Because what you're saying means this and that, but I felt like I explained it in this way. Maybe you can elaborate what you meant, because I'm open. Personally, I'm always open to feedback and criticism. And most of the time, it's like, oh, okay, that's what you meant, okay. Or they say like, okay, I meant it this and that way. And then I'm like, okay, from that perspective, I totally understand, but let me just kind of explain what I actually meant. And obviously, I didn't explain it well enough in the video. So yeah, so I kind of always try to de-escalate a situation. And yeah, usually that helps. And honestly, if you attack back, it ends up in a big argument, and usually you just can't win on the internet, actually, if you start a big discussion. Yeah, but I just kind of wanted to talk about this, because this is definitely something that is discouraging. And maybe you've already heard that you can get hundreds of positive comments, but then there's just one comment that's negative, and that's the one that unfortunately sticks in your head. And especially if it's a comment that you consider a little bit unfair, like the example that I mentioned, where I'm kind of saying like, okay, I'm going to nitpick here. I'm going to present to you all of the potential negatives, even though they don't apply to you. Someone might consider them a negative as well. And then someone goes, oh, what the hell you're talking about? You don't know what you're saying. That is a negative. That never happens to me, has happened to me. And I'm sitting there like, yeah, that's basically what I was saying in the beginning. And if that doesn't apply to you, perfect. And you made the right buying decision. But just because it didn't happen to you doesn't mean it couldn't happen at all, or it couldn't happen to someone else. So when those comments get into your comments inbox, it is discouraging. But yeah, I'm just kind of wanting to re-emphasize that you shouldn't get discouraged, and you shouldn't start like arguing. It definitely doesn't help. And trying to come back with the benefit of a doubt, and kind of saying like, okay, please elaborate what you mean, because I felt like I explained it this and this and this and this way. Maybe I didn't do it good enough. Maybe you can tell me what exactly you found wrong at whatever I was making. So anyways, that was my little video about the comment section. If you are a creator yourself, let me know what are the kind of comments that grind your gears, where you get kind of discouraged or frustrated. Let me know in the comment section below. And if you want to see yesterday's, or not yesterday, I missed yesterday's video. The video before, watch the video up here. YouTube thinks that you like the video down here, and don't forget to like the video and potentially subscribe by clicking the button up here. I see you in the next video. Thank you very much.